I'm Josellie Rios from Funimation, and this is One Piece at a Time. I'm your host and a social media producer. And in celebration of the One Piece anime's 20th anniversary, I'm watching the show for the first time, and every week, a seasoned fan rewatching the series will join me in exploring each episode following the Merry Route binge guide. So come on board on this adventure starting right now. Welcome back to One Piece at a Time. Today, MJ is back here with us. Welcome, MJ.
Hi, Josellie. Thank you. I'm MJ, as you might hopefully all know.
So last week on podcast episode 29, we went through anime episodes 224 to 231. The crew got their memories back and escaped the island. And they fight Foxy again.
So we went
through that. We briefly met Aokiji, and we learned about his super awesome power and his history with Nico Robin. Mm-hmm. We reached Beautiful Water 7, where Nico Robin just mysteriously disappeared. And also, Luffy, Nami, and Usopp cashed in their treasure and got money for the ship, but it got stolen. Mm-hmm. So a lot of things happened on the last episode. So on this podcast episode, which is episode 30, we'll go through anime episodes 232 to 239, and the Straw Hats will face the Frankie family, who we just met, and continue their adventures in Water 7. Mm-hmm. So excited.
Same. Things are picking up. Things are getting excited.
Yes. So let's start with episode 232. Galley La Company at Grand Site, dock number 1.
So, okay. So there's still the money's stolen.
Yes.
Right? I think it was like 200 million berry.
It was 300 million berries. Total, yes. Right? And then 200 got stolen.
Yeah. So they're chasing them, and I believe it starts with they're like, they need to get the money back.
Yes.
We see Polly.
Yes. We see Polly running away from debt collectors.
Yeah.
And he's just being chased in, and he sees Yagura's coming below the bridge where he's at. So he just jumps on them and he hijacks.
It was like perfect timing.
Yeah, perfect timing. So he didn't have the intention of actually taking the money at first, but
yeah, coincidentally, Yagura that he jumped onto happened to be the one the Straw Hats were chasing because they had taken their money.
Mm-hmm. So back at the shore, Luffy and Usopp see that, and a talking pigeon offers to bring the money back. And Luffy's like so impressed. He's like, wait, that pigeon just talked? And he talks. Yeah, it turns out Lucci has a pigeon on his shoulder that basically speaks for him, and he gets the money back from Polly.
Yeah, so at first, Usopp and Luffy are like, yeah, thank you for retrieving your money back, because, they figure Polly works for that company. And, but then, like, for a brief hot second, Polly's like, oh, money. I can pay back my debt. But
right.
Which is like, you can't steal that.
Mm-hmm. We sort of get like an introduction to a lot of shipwrights. Mm-hmm. Here we met Polly, who apparently likes to gamble. We met Lucci, the pigeon ventriloquist. And
that's how you remember him?
Yeah. And then we go into Dock 1, which has this amazing big entrance. Although I don't understand pretty well how that entrance works. Because it's just like this big door, but on the sides, it's not as big. So technically, anyone can just jump over the fence. But
it's important. No, they can't. They can't enter.
Okay. Because there's a big door. And inside Dock 1, we sort of see more about Iceberg. Mm-hmm. We learn how popular he is. And Luffy is like, well, if you're so great, I'm going to invite you to my crew. And he invites him.
He's like, hey, you want to join our crew?
Because
he's been looking for a shipwright, especially with Mary getting beaten up.
Yeah, but Iceberg says no. But he says, like, you can recruit just anybody else. Like, just not me. I'm also the mayor.
Yeah, he is. And they're like, what? But I think it's amazing how those three, like, he was talking about I think it was 5 main shipwrights, including Kaku, Polly, and Lucien. That's he like, I can guarantee the skills of all these people. And I think we had that display of power where they were shoving the heavy door open.
Yes. We did. He also asked about Nico Robin, which was a little suspicious to me at the time. It's like, how come everybody here knows Nico Robin? I need to know.
Well, we knew that she was like...
I just know that she had a bounty placed on her when she was 8. And that's all I know.
Well,
she's been running...
She's been wanted since she was 8.
Yeah.
Right? So
What did she
like,
do?
Dun, dun, dun.
Nobody wants to tell me.
So they're in dock number 1, and then they're learning about how awesome this their basically Iceberg's company is, and like with all the very talented shipwrights, as well as like I think Usopp is like, oh, look at all this cool stuff. He comments, I believe, on like copper, like they're using all these things, and I think cannons.
Yeah, he's admiring all the cannons, wondering if they'll let him like shoot one.
He is a sniper.
True.
But they're admiring everything that like they're able to do.
We see that Usopp is ambushed by the Frankie family again, and then we cut to Chopper, who's trying to track Robin since he lost her at the library, right? Or at the bookshop? At the bookshop.
I think it was a bookshop.
Yeah.
He was too distracted by the books.
Yeah. So he lost her, and he finds Sanji. So they're sort of trying to figure that out. And then when we go back to Dock 1, someone returns the money bags or suitcases, back to Luffy and Nami. They're like, hey, are these yours? I just found them lying around. And then I just know that they don't have any money inside them, especially since Usopp's not there. It's just like the bags.
You're
on
starting
the
to
floor.
understand the pattern.
Yes. Careful, me, Oda.
She's getting smarter. But you're right about your suspicion about the gold. But Luffy and Nami are still there. And then Kaku returns. Well, actually, Kaku was talking with Zoro briefly.
Yeah, he briefly spoke with Zoro before checking on down below on the Mary. And then he parkours back to Dock 1.
Yep. And then delivers the news of the fact that it cannot be fixed.
The Mary can't be fixed.
Nope.
That's devastating news.
Well, because they're like, what? Like, why?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't.
They have all the money. I mean, they're missing it, but they don't know.
They don't know.
We have all the money you can want. Fix it. We have to fix the Mary. And not, Luffy's like persistent.
Yeah. He's like, just fix it, and we can even upgrade it, put all these...
Why can't we do all these things? We have all the money you could possibly ask
And he
for.
even does like a thing on the suitcases, like, we got plenty of money
but
to spend.
Kaku's like, no, the keel is damaged. Basically, we end the episode with Luffy be like, can it not be fixed? What is wrong with it? And then I think it was Kaku.
Yeah.
The possibility of making it to the next island, I believe.
Yeah, it's 0.
It's 0. And that's where the episode ends. It's sad how basically they got all this gold and they've been kind of, their next thing was to make sure Mary was all taken care of because, I mean, she's pretty beaten up.
Yeah, she went to the sky and back and made it alive.
I mean, it's kind of a miracle, especially with all the things they do to her.
It is a miracle. And all the monsters they've seen, even when they just went to the Grand Line, that they had to go through the mountain, like the Mary has taken quite a beating and still floats and still serves her purpose. So it is devastating news, like, because they even consider her like part of the crew, like she's a crew member and she's their friend. Like they see the Mary as another straw hat, not just a ship. Yeah,
the episode again ends with can't fix, and then Zoro's like, Mary, can you really not sail anymore? And I was like,
my heart, my soul.
I know, and it's Zoro. Zoro's like not the most emotional guy. So, episode 233, Pirate Abduction Incident, a pirate ship that can only await her end.
No, that's so sad.
That's so sad. Yeah, so they briefly mentioned the keel being, basically, keel can't be fixed. It's the backbone, it's the spine. It has to be, if it's broken, it can't be fixed. They actually talk in detail. Polly, I believe, talks about the detail and what the keel is, and then all the different pieces that depend on the keel, I believe.
Yeah, he basically explains that the keel, like you said, is the backbone of the ship, and it's the first piece that is put so that the ship can be put together. So everything is like basically attached to it. So if the keel breaks, just everything, you can't just replace it and have everything fit in there as it was before. So you basically need to build a new ship.
And then Luffy's like, why can't, okay, just build us the same exact ship. And their comment is, we can follow the blueprint as closely as possible, but there's no exact same ship because they're made of wood and no tree is exactly the same. Yeah.
Any way you look at it, the Mary is not gonna survive, and there's no way of making another Mary.
So I believe keel is ryukotsu in Japanese. If that's how you say it. And then kotsu is essentially bone, but ryu is dragon. So I haven't actually looked up the meaning exactly on why these kanjis are used, but I was like, oh, that sounds so powerful. And the fact that that part of the Mary was broken is just like, ryukotsu was broken.
It would translate to, you said dragon's bone?
Dragon bone.
Dragon bone. Huh.
If it's literal translation of the individual kanji characters. I don't know too much about ship terminology, but when I first heard keel, I wasn't the most familiar with that term. Yeah. But I read keel, and then they said ryukotsu. So I was like, oh, that sounds important.
That's a cool fact, though. I like that. I mean, honestly, I don't know a lot about shipbuilding either. I totally depended on Kaku's explanation of how it worked.
A really good explanation.
It was. Actually, and it even had like graphics that you could see. It was a very good explanation of how ships work.
A ship infographic. This is how you build a ship according to One Piece. I wonder how accurate it is, actually.
I wonder, true.
Yeah.
If anyone knows, let us know.
Yeah,
on
how
our
to
social.
build ships.
Yeah, if you know how to build ships, let us know if it's accurate at all, what Kaku said, or if the Mary could have been saved.
I mean, they do research, so I'm sure it's accurate to a certain extent.
Yeah.
I wonder about the different situations, though. Returning back to the actual story. Devastating news about Mary, and I still don't want to believe it. I mean, I'm rewatching it, and I'm just like, no, why can't, I mean, just do it.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to replace it, but why not?
Maybe just try, and we can take it from there. Yeah. That's how I feel, too.
Yeah, and Luffy, too. Luffy's just like, no, we can't give up on Mary. She's one of us. And do you remember what Iceberg said about being the captain to Luffy?
No.
Okay. I don't know if it caught you, but Iceberg is like, and you call yourself a ship's captain, because there's a lot with, I mean, okay, I guess you could have built a new ship, but I think this touches upon the fact that he was, Luffy's kind of risking his crew's life.
Right.
Yeah.
Using a busted ship.
Yeah.
That's true. I didn't catch that, no.
Yeah, because this is important in the next episode as well, where it's like, yeah, you can't, it's complicated being captain.
It is definitely complicated.
Because you're right that the ship is one of you, but then it's also not human. So it's a vessel, and so you have to take care of, it's one of those things where it's like, do you sacrifice one or everyone?
Yes, are you willing to risk your life for a ship?
I mean, in this case, it's a ship, but in the case that if it was one person, Luffy probably wouldn't have left them.
Person, no. Yes, in the case of a person, I feel that totally he wouldn't have left anyone back.
But it's just, it's that weird, it's a ship, so it's not human. She's not human, but she's still a very important member. So but Iceberg had a good point, and then Luffy is like, I have to think about this more. It's a hard decision.
It is definitely a hard decision. And then while they're having like this discussion over it, and Iceberg's like, hey, well, just think it over. Here's our catalog.
Yeah, of new ships that they could get.
Exactly. Some government officials arrive, and Luffy and Nami hide away from them. And then they realize that the money is gone.
Because when they're hiding, Luffy picks it up. He's like, I was like, oh, Luffy, very perceptive of you.
Yeah.
He was like, they feel lighter. And then I was like, what are you talking about? Luffy. There's tons of money. And I mean, there's money in there. How can they be light? And then they open it up and discover, no money.
No money. Nami was the only one who protected the money that she was walking with because it's Nami.
Good job, Nami.
They're wondering, like, where's Usopp? How did the money get away?
Yeah, because, they're like, okay, so money's gone. But then also, where's Usopp? And they're thinking about that, over to the side, I think some dock workers commented about Kaku because they saw the long nose. And they're like, oh, remember, they saw Kaku being taken away.
Yes.
But it wasn't Kaku because Kaku's there.
Yes, it was Usopp because he's got the long nose too. And everybody's been confusing them, like, since...
Yeah, because they both have the long nose, although the shapes are different.
Yeah, they realize Usopp's been taking, and Luffy immediately just runs off. He's like, need to get the money back, and he starts running off towards the Frankie house.
Was it the Frankie house? Or?
I think so.
Meanwhile, Nami, so Luffy obviously just heads off, and then Nami takes the gold to the ship.
Yes, she figures she can't do anything by her own, and she still has the money that they have left, so she should go back to the ship and take the money there and maybe look for the others who are obviously better at fighting. And this is where the beginning of Usopp's struggle. Oh man. So Nami finds Usopp beaten up in the middle of the street, and this part really broke my heart because he was like legit just bawling, super ashamed. Like, how am I supposed to face the others when I lost all this money that we were supposed to use to
the way he
fix
said
the Mary?
He was like, we were finally about to have Mary repaired. How can I face everyone? And can you imagine what also Nami's feeling?
Yeah, because she knows.
She just heard that they can't repair the Mary.
She tells Usopp to stay there while she goes get Chopper because he looks very, very beaten up.
She's like, I should probably not move him. Stay there.
And he does exactly the opposite.
Well, we don't know that till later, or a little later. But Nami's like, stay here. I'm gonna get Chopper. So because you're really beaten up, his nose is broken.
It is. Everything is broken, I feel.
Goes off, but.
Yeah, so he goes off and he goes to the Frankie house. And I do want to mention, though, that while all this is happening, Chopper and Sanji are actually trying to figure out where Nico Robin is.
Yeah, they're still trying to find Robin.
And while this was all happening, like, I was super worried about what Usopp was going through. But I also really want to know what's up with Nico Robin. Like, I was like, please show me more about Sanji and Chopper. But we didn't see a lot. We just
Not this episode.
No, we just saw that, they're trying to figure out what's going on. Yeah, just realizing that there's not a whole lot that they know.
But Usopp, because when we see, so Usopp does go to the Frankie house, but right before that, they were like, oh, you got 200 million buried. Good job, you. And then Usopp comes, even though he's like all beaten up, and Nami told him to not move. But how can he not move? Because he knows that money was supposed to be for Mary. And of course, he also doesn't know that Mary can't be fixed. But he gets there all beaten up and tries, but Frankie is like, my name is Frankie, because Frankie's there and to receive that
with
money.
His mask.
So we haven't seen him yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. We just see him like say, just give it back to me right now, and that's where the episode ends. On home video, One Piece Adventure of Nebulandia is available now on Blu-ray and DVD. You can watch it dubbed for the first time, and it comes with an exclusive interview with the English cast, Ian Sinclair, the voice of Brook, and Michael Johnson, the voice of Kome. Also, One Piece episode of East Blue is now up for pre-order. It'll be coming out September 24th, also dubbed for the first time, with an exclusive 20th anniversary documentary featuring the English cast and the Funimation crew. You can get them both at funimation.com/shop. So episode 234, rescuing our friend, raid on the Frankie house. So we see Usopp taking his stance against the Frankie family, basically failing at it. He tries shooting Frankie after his long speech. I mean, he's in a house full of people.
Yeah, and Frankie's strong. And Frankie is, quite frankly, this is our money now.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's money you stole, right?
Yeah.
Which technically, they stole it, but I believe the Skypians wanted to give them the gold anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, technically they stole it, but it was just because they were misinformed about the Skypeans' intentions.
But Frankie's being doesn't care about Usopp's reason, taking the money, saying, well, you're useless. If you had the money stolen from you, aren't you actually the useless one? You can't even take it back from us.
Yeah, and basically he's like, well, you're pirates, so it doesn't matter if I steal from you. What are you gonna do?
That, and also you're weak. You had it stolen from you. If you wanted it, you could have taken it back. But you're right.
But
it's dirty money.
You can't.
And Frankie just decides to go shopping with all that money.
So Nami tells the guys where she left Usopp back at the ship, and she basically sends them to get Usopp. So they all leave. I think the 4 of them, right? Usopp, not Usopp, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Chopper.
Actually, it's Zoro, Sanji, and Chopper.
I thought Sanji
were.
Oh, yes, because Luffy.
Yes.
You are totally right.
Okay, I hate laughing when all these sad things are
happening. I know,
happening,
but you have to laugh, because what are we going to do? Luffy's trying to parkour just like Kaku.
But we don't know that. What we have is like Nami got back. She's like protecting the ship, and she, because she told the other 3 to go get Usopp, and then the 3, without Luffy, are where Nami told them where Usopp is. And what? Usopp is gone.
Yes. Disappeared. But they do find a blood trail.
So they're there trying to figure out what's going on. And that's when Luffy drops in. He just like falls in front of this guy. I love this moment actually, because he bounces off the wall onto the ground and into the water. And the 3 are just like watching this happen.
Yeah.
They're like looking blankly at the water. What just happened? Also not really caring about what just
not helping Luffy because he can't swim.
They're almost like surprised. They weren't expecting it, right?
Yeah.
And then Luffy just falls from the sky.
He does. And like I said, he was trying to parkour like Kaku. And it's like, why, Luffy? Especially in this moment where we're in a hurry trying to figure out where Usopp is.
He was trying in a hurry to find Usopp.
Oh, Luffy.
But they save him because he's drowning in the water that he can't swim in. And then Luffy's like, bad news, Usopp has been, kidnapped. And they're like, yeah, we know, Nami told us. And but they did find that blood track that you mentioned. So they're like, oh.
So they figure that they'll follow it and see where Usopp is. And so before we continue, we see that Iceberg is meeting with the government agents, and they're sort of asking him for something, like where is it? And he's like playing dumb. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever it is, I don't have it. And we see, and like he has Nico Robin's poster on the wall. And I'm like, I can't wait to see how this all relates to
it will all
of it, right? I'm just keep getting all these little hints and things that I know that later will all click together, but I still can't piece them. And it's making me desperate, MJ.
It's so good. I love all these things that are pieced together, all these hints, and then the fact that he doesn't, Carifra, like his secretary, he's just, I don't think he tells her either, right?
No.
Was he playing dumb? Is there actually something precious? She asked at some point, is it something precious? And he's like, well, I tell him I don't know anything, but we don't know anything either yet. I'm so ready for you to. There's so much.
Oh man, I can't wait. So we go back to the guys, and they find Usopp on a field, all beaten up. Now even worse than how Nami found him, which is terrible. And they're all like super mad.
They're angry.
They are very upset.
I mean, he looks so... I'm like, are you alive, Usopp? And he's crying because he still couldn't get back the money. And his crewmates understand that. And so they get the music.
Yes. We got the music, the battle music.
Yeah.
Ting, ting, ting.
I mean, so Zoro, that's his bandana. Luffy looks so serious.
He looks super serious. And then they start walking together. This sort of reminded me of the walk to Arlong Park, where they're all just like walking in a line, very seriously
for Nami,
mad for Nami.
Yeah.
So this sort of reminded me of that.
Me too. Oh, it's such a good moment. Oh. What did you think?
It was great. Like, they just went in on it. Like, they just busted into that house and were like, so many good moves. Like, they all had like their fighting moment, and Chopper eats his rumble ball. It's great. And then we just see they're all dead.
But I loved the walk to the Frankie house a lot, though. So because they build it up. We see all the moments they shared with Usopp.
Yes.
Just like, oh, yeah, Usopp is one of them, and he got so beaten up. And then, you're right. And then with the music, they build it up, they hype it up, and then we get into the fight with, as you mentioned, they don't expect anything, actually, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh no, it's the Straw Hat, because Luffy is a wanted man.
Yeah, and they were sort of, when Usopp first came into the house, they were all like, well, I thought the Straw Hats were supposed to be strong. So now
they mock him because he's not as strong as they thought a Straw Hat crew member should be.
Yeah, and then we get like the real MVPs come kick their asses.
Usopp is too, just in a different way.
Just in a different way. That's true.
But I mean, they're angry. They're beating them up. Actually, the Frankie, the family realize, oh wait, we can't win, and they're like, please save us, don't beat us up. But they don't care. I mean, they didn't care for Usopp after clearly being all beaten up. All these Frankie house family against, they're like, you think you could beat us? You have only 4. So all of us. And but they know nothing, and they beat them all up. And they get, I love it, because like, I love how they all have like their own thing going on. You see Sanji kicking ass, using his legs,
you see Zoro just, doing his sword moves. And at the end, we just see like the house is destroyed and everybody's just knocked out.
This episode to me was, it was quite emotional, because to see, I've seen Usopp beaten up, but then again, when the 4 are standing up for him and showing off like all their amazing moves on behalf of like Usopp.
Yeah, that's true.
And the music they had obviously around that, everything was like, oh, I remember how much I loved this episode.
Yeah, and also we're super mad about, or at least I was, about these people just stealing their money so carelessly.
Sad.
It's like, yes, I'm glad that you're getting your asses kicked right now, honestly. Don't cry, MJ.
I'm just thinking about everything that's happening right now, and everything that's gonna happen that's coming up. It just reminds me of like, oh, Usopp.
You can't see MJ, but she's literally about to cry.
I'm not crying yet. I'm not crying, but I'm very sad.
After destroying the house, the guys are sort of trying to figure out like, well, the money's not here, so what now? And we see Frankie
in the distance by the train.
Exactly. He's about to take the C train to spend this money, but no one knows where he's going really. And that's what the other guys tell Luffy and the crew. They're like, we don't know where he's going. He just said that he was going to spend the money.
But we do see Frankie and the 2 sisters by the train looking, and they notice the clouds, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because of all the fighting that's happening.
They think it's a party or something, I think.
But the episode ends basically after we flash back to, or we switch back to Luffy, who makes a big decision where he makes a decision. Let's say goodbye to the Mary.
And he sounds so somber when he says it. Like, I made a decision. We'll part ways with the Mary. I mean, that's at least what he says in the dub. He's like, we'll say goodbye to her here. And I'm like, no.
The subtitles also say, let's say goodbye to the Gory Mary here. And then that's where the episode ends.
That's where it ends. My heart.
So, how did you feel at the end of this episode?
I was sort of torn, like, because obviously I want the Mary to be fixed, but it seems like it's getting harder and harder. Like, the shipwrights said it's unfixable, and then now we just got more than half the money stolen. Like, if it's an impossible to fix situation, I bet we'll need as much money as possible if it's going to happen. So then you wonder, like, if we're gonna have to go through all of this, like, we just beat up this bunch of people. Usopp's super hurt. Is it even worth it then? Like, should we just... Is Luffy right then to say, hey, let's just move on?
Episode 235, Big Fight Under the Moon. The pirate flag flutters with sorrow.
Oh, with sorrow. So at the start of this episode, all I am thinking is, who's gonna tell Usopp?
Yeah.
That's,
because he still doesn't
He doesn't know. That was my main thing through this whole episode. When it started, I was like, oh my god, who's going to tell Usopp? He is going to freak out. But I didn't expect what was coming, honestly.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. So Usopp wakes up.
Yeah, because they carry him back to the ship, or to the dock one, and then to heal, because he's gotten beaten up twice.
Yes. And even his nose is bandaged, like everything is broken. Everybody's trying to make Usopp sort of not feel bad about what happened, except Nami. I'm like, Nami, Jesus, like, just calm down. Because she's like, I think they started talking about the money. She's like, well, he lost twice that with the money that they have. And Chopper looks at her like, Nami. I'm like, okay, not the time. It wasn't his fault. He's pretty beaten up and he's already feeling awful about it. Like, you don't need to rub it in his face. And then Luffy casually tells Usopp, I was like, Luffy, maybe there was a better way to try to explain this to Usopp. You know, like, okay, so we need to talk. This is what's happening. This is what the Mary has. So this is why I made that decision. But no, Luffy's just all casual. Hey, here's the catalog. We get to pick a new ship. Come on, guys. Let's just pick one. And Usopp's not taking it well at all. Like, he's like, what? New ship? And Luffy's like, yeah, we're going to pick a new ship. And I'm like, no, Luffy. Like, I feel like he was super, like, not being sensitive about it at all.
How would you have delivered it?
I don't know. I would have maybe given him some context. I know he wouldn't have taken it well either way, but I feel like maybe if he... Because I feel Usopp felt a little bit hurt by Luffy's attitude towards the whole thing. Like, he felt like Luffy didn't care about it. He was like...
Because of the way he said it?
Yeah. He was like, oh, well, you know... Because I think he even mentioned, like, well, now you're just happy that you get to pick a new toy. So I feel like he sort of feels that Luffy didn't try hard enough to save the Mary.
Yeah, because he didn't see Luffy trying. I mean, we saw. He was, like, giving all these like, suggestions on how we can save the...
That's what I mean. Like, maybe
the delivery.
They should have, on the delivery, they should have tried explaining to Usopp, like, that they tried and what the, you know, what Kaku said, and that it was just impossible.
But okay, but it's Luffy.
But it's Luffy, yeah.
Right? So how would you imagine him delivering the news?
I don't know. Maybe he should have just assigned somebody to do it.
But he's the captain.
I feel like maybe Nico Robin was the best person for this.
He's the captain.
She's not there. That's true. He's the captain.
So, like, him as a captain, how else would he... He did apologize at one point. Sorry, we made this decision without consulting you, but I've made the decision. And so, I mean, everyone's sad, but you're... I don't know. You're right, hard. Though. It is hard tough. Because Usopp doesn't know. He could have given more context, but is Luffy the one? There's also, I think it also relates to him being captain and then him making the choices, right? Does he need to explain himself?
That's true.
Sometimes. Like,
yeah, that's true.
I think that's being explored around here with, like, what it means to be a captain.
That's true. Technically, he can make that decision.
I mean, of course, I understand Usopp too. It's like you had a bunch of strangers, people we don't know, people don't know the Mary, what she's gone through, what she's survived, and you're just letting them tell you without... I can understand that. Even though they're experts, right? And you should trust them as experts, but if you don't want to believe the experts...
Yeah. It is definitely a tough position to be in. And Usopp's giving it to Luffy too. Yeah. Like, he's like, I can't believe this is the kind of captain you turned out to be. And I'm like, oh, we're going there. Like,
it's getting heated because it starts with Luffy being casually like, oh, we're getting a new ship, and then talking about all the things. I mean, we can't fix it. Look at all these new ones. Usopp is very getting frustrated. No, I'm not hearing it, but. it's getting heated because they start yelling at each other. I can't believe he did this, Captain.
Yeah, and Luffy is also like, he's getting worked up too. Like, Usopp is throwing all of these things at him, and Luffy's getting heated up, and he even says like, if you don't like it, like, you can just go.
No, he doesn't say it all.
He almost says it all, and then Sanji kicks him in the face. He's
before he finishes
the sentence.
This is a heated discussion between. It's so hard.
And I feel we've all been there. Like, we've all had these discussions where you just get so worked up that you just
say things.
There's
you
some
might
things
regret.
that you just can't take back. I feel that this is where this was going. This is where it went.
Well, I've never thought. I didn't really think about how could it have gone differently.
Yeah,
because it's just how the story went. But that is, maybe I should have thought. Oh, I wonder how else it could have gone. But if it hadn't gone this way, the things wouldn't have happened.
True.
So
Sanji kicks Luffy.
Before he finishes the sentence of like, if you don't like it, you can leave. Because that's some.
But basically, yeah, still that's what happens. Like, Usopp takes his last stance and says, like, if you throw away the Mary, you're basically throwing me away too. And I was like, oh man, like the Mary was like the thing that brought Usopp to the crew. Like,
it was more
we
than
got
that,
Usopp,
right.
we got Usopp and Mary at the same time.
Yes. It's also a piece of his homeland and Kaya.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's something precious to him because of Kaya and his hometown. And that's when he says, like, he's just leaving the crew. And I'm like, oh, super gasp. Wait, you're what? And I thought at first that he wasn't serious.
That he was joking?
Maybe not that he was joking, but I was like, maybe he's doing it like he's...
To try to be like, hey, you want to take that back because if you don't, I'm going to leave.
Exactly. Okay. Or maybe he wanted them to be like, okay, no, well, let's talk this over. We don't want you to leave. Stay, please. And as soon as that happened and he walks out the door, Nami's just there looking at Luffy, telling him and expecting him to do something. And I already knew. I was like, well, if I've learned one thing about Usopp, is that he will not beg anyone to come or go. Like, he lets people do what they want. So if Usopp says that he's gonna leave the crew, Luffy is not gonna beg him to stay. Because the same thing has happened before, not in this same dramatic manner or for these same reasons, but whenever Nami wanted to leave in the beginning, like, she was like, I'm not sure I want to be a pirate or be part of this crew, I'm just gonna stick with you, and if I don't feel like it, I'm just gonna go.
Yeah,
he didn't care. Like, when they started fighting Buggy,
that was like,
Nami was like, okay, really, bye.
Well, okay. I think if you fully decide for yourself that your journey is elsewhere, Luffy wouldn't stop you, but like this kind of ending is, or like this.
Well, he did decide it for himself.
What? Oh, Usopp?
Yeah.
Oh, it feels kind of different.
It is different. I'm not saying it's the same thing, but what I'm saying is I feel Luffy, like, it's not Luffy's MO to stop anybody from leaving his crew if they want. But it's hard. Like, I thought it wasn't gonna happen.
Yeah, because we also saw like, I mean, it's hard for Luffy too.
Yeah.
Because Luffy's, I think this is when we had a really, really brief flashback of all the Usopp Luffy moments because they're silly together.
Yeah. Yes. And also, I feel like Chopper, like, I was very sad to see Chopper being so affected by it, because I feel like they are the three silly ones. Like, whenever something silly is happening, it's either Usopp and Luffy, or Luffy Chopper, Usopp Chopper, or the three of them.
Oh, very sad.
So it was super sad. And Nami and Sanji and Chopper all go out outside on the deck and try to sort of convince Usopp, like, don't go, but he's like, it's done. And Luffy and Zoro stay inside, and you can see Zoro just, with his eyes closed, and I'm like, of course Zoro's gonna do that. He's so loyal to Luffy, and I feel like that's just like a quick glimpse of that loyalty, like, because he's not gonna beg anyone. If that's what the captain said, then that's it.
This is a really interesting thing you point out that we'll actually see more in the next episode.
Yeah.
Like, you're right. I mean, we'll talk about it. But Zoro is, I don't know. I've heard comments like, what does Zoro do? I've heard this before where it's like, well, Zoro gets lost and I guess he can sword fight, but but he is I see him as, he is the second person who joined. And he fully supports Luffy as the captain.
Yeah.
And so we see places like this where like, yeah, you're the captain, you made the decision, I'm behind you. But there's internal arguments because no one wants all this splitting. And I think Usopp, Chopper does try to treat him still.
Yeah.
But I think he comes back crying.
Yeah.
Because Usopp rejected
Didn't let him, yeah.
He said, I wrote down, he said, you and I are no longer friends, so go back to the ship. So it's interesting to read it. It sounds harsher, actually, with the sub. I wonder if it's harsher. But so instead of friends, it's nakama in the subtitles. Maybe it's heavier. But nakama, have you ever talked about what nakama means?
Not officially, no.
Okay, so I feel it gets really important here where it is a friend, but nakama essentially is like someone who you are in a group with. Like you are one of them. So nakama is the closest might be one of whatever, one of us, one of them. And so it goes beyond just friendship. It's being part of one group. It's friends. It's a family. You're friends. You're like sibling. I guess that's family. I wish there was a better word for the word nakama. Naka is like inside and ma is part of. So you're inside that group.
Okay. So it's like friendship. It's like friends, but inside, it's as it relates
friendship.
to that thing that you're part of.
Yes. So it's heavily on belonging somewhere.
Okay.
And so friends is not deep enough because friends can be shallow, right? But nakama is like you belong there. I can't express more. I wish I can express more on how important it is to be a nakama. It just means like you're one of us. You're one of them. You're one of us. You have a place. You belong.
That even breaks my heart even more for Usopp now.
Yeah, because I mean, to me, nakama holds a lot of weight. But the fact that they're like, we're no longer nakama, go back to the ship. And then Usopp does challenge though for the Mary because he says you are the captain, so it is your ship, but I'm going to challenge you for the ship.
I know. So he challenges Luffy to a fight, to a duel, and I'm like, what are you doing, Usopp? And he gives like this whole speech about how he knows. Yeah, he's like, I'm ready. I know how to fight you. I've been with you a long time. I've seen you fight, and I know your weaknesses. And I'm like, oh man, I fear for Usopp, but at the same time, I want to see if it's true. They decide to do it at 10 o'clock. Usopp appears and he's like, I already figured out how to defeat you. And I'm here like eating all these popcorn, like, oh my god, the drama.
Are you eating popcorn? I have nothing. I'm just like, I think the first time I watched this, I was just like so caught up. I was like, what's happening with Usopp? What's going to happen with Mary? What's going to happen with this group? I was just sad.
So that's where it ends, to be continued. So for today's podcast question, we asked on our Facebook, One Piece Official, and on our Twitter at One Piece Anime, what are your thoughts about the Straw Hat's decision around Mary after Kaku delivered his distressing news?
And for this one, just in case, I asked Josellie to not look at the comments, just in case you guys talk about more than she knows.
So MJ is going to read your questions today.
Yes, or your answers. We have a bunch on Twitter and Facebook. On Twitter, Adam Blade on Twitter says, I feel like a lot of people don't think about this from Usopp's perspective. To him, the Mary was his contribution to the Straw Hats. Casting aside the Mary was the same as casting aside Usopp himself. Usopp had to learn he was more than Mary.
Oh, that's a great point. It's not just about how much the Mary means to him, but how much he values himself also, apart from the Mary.
It's an interesting perspective. We don't know for sure what Usopp felt, but I'm sure there's like a lot of ties. I don't think that is something. Yeah, we don't know for sure, but that's definitely an interesting perspective. With Usopp may think he might not be as useful because he's not as powerful.
Yeah.
He doesn't kick butt like Sanji or
Zoro.
Luffy or Zoro. Choppa he's a scaredy cat in a way, but he's a doctor.
He does have power too.
Usopp is a very good sniper. Yeah, you're right. He might not see himself as valuable enough and may have seen Mary as his contribution.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it's also a growing experience for him.
If he does see that as like, oh, I belong here because I kind of contributed to Mary. If that is what he thinks. Interesting. Thank you. And then we have on Facebook, Francesca Olegnik. Her full but understandable overall. She was so close. So close to breaking, and the wood of the ship withstood so much. They did what they had to keep her afloat and survive the trip. Mary did a great job, and her spirit will stay with us to the end.
Oh, the spirit of the Mary.
Oh no,
but it's true.
It's
true. She has withheld a lot. Like she's gone through a lot. Like we said, so, I mean, she was even in an altar in the sky and almost burned down.
Oh, yeah. She has gone through a lot. There's a lot. I'm going to keep going. Twitter, just spitballing. Usopp was simping hard. He wasn't really being rational or reasonable whatsoever. Luffy was 100% right. He had to put his personal feelings on the side and think about the safety and travel of his crew. Glad they settled it, though. LOL.
What do you think about that? Do you think...
So this is that point I brought up earlier about what it means to be a captain.
Yeah.
Right? And then sacrificing one for the all. And not only one, but it's not human. A ship. It's hard. What is valuable? Human life.
Yeah, I mean, some objects are very valuable too.
But never
more. Yeah.
Life, right?
Never over, the safety of people's lives.
I agree. I don't know in what situation an object would be more important than a human life, unless it was tied to the survival of a lot of human lives. But then we'll be talking about human lives versus human life versus rather than an object in a human life.
Yeah.
That was a lot of human lives.
I got you.
Again on Twitter, Dylan Rediger. I'm so not good at names. I'm sorry. Rediger. Such a heartbreaking moment. While Luffy wasn't right, you can't blame Usopp either. The guy just got his crap kicked and just... I don't swear. I don't, but it was an S-word kicked and just heard the ship his longtime friend gave them and he cared for was unable to sail. The guy couldn't help but vent out his frustration. Absolutely right. I mean, he did get beaten up very badly trying to get this gold back.
Yeah.
And already going through that feelings of like, I failed. I can't help Mary anymore because I've failed to get back the gold. And then suddenly Luffy dropping the big news on them or on him.
Casually.
And then on Facebook, we have, there's so many good comments, guys. Thank you. Helena Lore on Facebook said, when I was watching it first, I completely stuck with Usopp, and this was the only time I really hated Luffy.
Oh, wow.
But as I grew older, watching this was just too painful. Luffy had to decide what was best for the entire crew, and the only way out was leaving Mary behind.
Man. I mean, I feel you. I can see how that can happen. I don't see myself hating Luffy.
It's hard to hate Luffy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he'll do something that'll make me be like, oh. But I mean, it is definitely a hard situation. But yeah, I think he did the right thing. Or at least for what we've seen up to now, I feel like he's got the right, choice.
But so hard. I mean, we already talked about this, but Usopp had such great points of like, if you had a wounded friend, would you leave a wounded friend behind? And of course, he's treating the ship, Merigo, the ship. I'm like, what? Go means ship, or like the what? But Merigo as almost a human comrade. So Luffy's decision made sense too. I think Luffy's decision made sense. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
The only other choice would have been to just make a new Mary, but it wouldn't be Mary anymore.
Yeah. All of those answers were great, guys. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Don't forget to check every week our podcast question on social media, on One Piece Official on Facebook, and at One Piece Anime on Twitter. So welcome back to One Piece at a Time. Today, MJ is going to give us a mission statement.
Yeah, I have one. I'm going to be mindful of how I am as a nakama to people around me. I want to be a better nakama, but it is hard to define what is a good nakama.
So part of your mission should be to figure that out.
That's true. How can I be a better nakama? And then trying to become that better nakama.
That's a great mission, let me tell you. Hope you succeed. Keep us updated.
Thank you. I'll try.
So moving on to episode 236, Luffy versus Usopp, Collision of Two Men's Pride. Oh man, when I saw that title, I was like, oh man, what's gonna happen? So this episode is all about this fight. I think it's a good one. Like, I couldn't decide if I was mad, if I was sad,
It was everything.
if it was funny, because it was all three things at once to me.
With this fight, yeah.
Yes. Like, so we begin the episode and we see scenes from when we first met Usopp as he is approaching, the Mary for the fight. And, we see back when they were on the island, when they faced the Klahadore. And I'm like, oh man, so much has happened since then. And like you said before, like, I feel like Luffy and Usopp, they're like this silly duo.
Yeah.
Like, and to see them fighting, it's so sad.
It is really sad. Okay, but they do start fighting. And as we heard, Usopp has figured it out.
Yes.
And the way he starts it's supposed to be sad, and yet we have this moment where he starts, I think, with the Usopp spell, right? Where he used this before, I think, on Enel's ship. But basically, he talks about these painful things.
Yes.
And then Choppa, every time he's like, oh, that sounds painful. And then Zoda's like, why don't you just go inside if you're being affected by this? And I'm like, this is a serious, sad fight. And we have these comedic moments that we always have with One Piece.
He also tells Luffy that he has 8,000 men on his side.
Yeah.
And Chopper's like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
part of the reason why Zoda's like, why don't you just wait inside?
Yeah, how is this? How are you even believing?
But Luffy did learn. He knows that's not true.
So, and then Usopp starts, just throwing around all of his planned movements against Luffy. So we see those for a while, and they are all very hilarious. Like, he does, like, the ketchup thing.
Which was tricky and cunning because he made it like he was, he is injured, but he pretended to be spitting out blood. So then Luffy was like, whoa, oh no. And then, of course, Luffy does still care for himself. So that was tricky. That was tricky of him.
It was. Then he also uses, like, the flash dial to blind Luffy for a second and then throws eggs at him.
Just everything.
He uses a Tabasco star.
Yes, he does.
There's, like, prickly things on the floor. He throws a bunch of ninja stars. Like, he's got them, like, strung up, sort of.
Oh, man, I didn't look at it.
He kind of had them all strung up, so he, like, pulls on the rope and they all come flying to Luffy, and I'm like, well, Usopp, you were legitly prepared for this.
Strategizing, and then it looks like Usopp has an upper hand for a bit.
And he also uses, like, a gas bomb and lights it up, and that's when we see, like, this shot of the Mary, because the big wave sort of crashed over it, and it looks like the Mary's crying.
It does. I took a screenshot of this too. I noted this too because I obviously I don't remember all the scenes that happened because I've watched it so long ago, but in my rewatch I was like, oh, Mary has tears. She's not crying, but as you mentioned, when the wave splashed on her, there's this whole huge section under her eyes of water. making it look like she's crying.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
she would be sad
Yeah,
if she had
yeah,
emotions.
because why would she want her nakama to fight?
Yeah. Especially like the most important, like if Mary was an actual person, I feel like these would be the two most important people.
You think so?
Yeah, because, well, Luffy's the captain and Usopp's like the one who made Mary happen. I feel like he's the one who, you know, his relation to Kaya was, you know, what made them give the Mary to them, I feel.
Although it was Mary's. It was a butler's ship, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I can see that. Mary, I bet, has special memories with each of them.
Mm-hmm.
Like how like Zoro trains on the ship. Also,
Yeah.
Zoro like is at the top, overlooking everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then Nami navigating her. Oh, there's probably special memories with each one of them. No, there are special memories with each one of them, but I can see how the most important might be Zoro, Luffy and Usopp, because of what you just mentioned.
Mm-hmm. So we see the Mary cry, and then Usopp pulls out the impact dial.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, well, this is serious.
Yeah.
Like, he's legit trying to hurt Luffy. Like, they're
Yeah.
fighting for real.
And especially the impact dial, which you get hurt. Also.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So he uses the impact dial on Luffy, and that I'm super worried because I'm like, well, this is like a serious blow right now. What is Luffy gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
And Luffy punches Usopp once, and that's the end of this fight.
Yeah, I mean, with I think the gum bullet.
Yeah.
And Luffy's like, "There's no way that you could defeat me, is there? Didn't we know?"
Yeah. He tells him, like, you knew this would happen. And Chopper is going to go help him, and Sanji stops him. Like, everything is so heart-wrenching. I'm like, oh, like, my emotions were flaring up
Yeah.
during this whole episode.
So Luffy is like, you can take it. I won, but you can take the ship. We'll find a new ship.
Mm-hmm.
And Chopper, Sanji stops him, saying he, as you mentioned, so he stops Chopper, but he mentions, imagine how miserable he might be, because I think he doesn't want to be pitied, right? That's
Yeah,
what
he doesn't want to
Sanji
be
was saying.
paid. Mm-hmm.
Do you think that Usopp would have felt bad if Chopper had gone to him?
Judging from what he said to Chopper the last time he came, I feel like maybe Sanji was right. Because especially since through this whole thing, since it started with the money being stolen, like, he's been feeling very ashamed that he can't, like, what he's doing, like losing the money, is being detrimental to fixing the Mary.
Mm-hmm.
So right now losing, he must feel that same way. Like, I just challenged Luffy for the Mary to be able to save her, and I just lost.
Building. So many things are building on.
Oh, man. It's hard. Chopper, I do like that Chopper does this. He still jumps off the ship and basically leaves him some medical supplies and just goes off without talking to him or anything.
Yeah.
Because he cares. Chopper cares.
They all care, but they can't. And what really hurt for me too was because Luffy, it hurts Luffy. This is when what I was talking about in the previous episode talk about Zoro being that, right hand man, that second crewmate. Is it first? But so that crewmate, when Luffy's like, this is really tough, and Zoro's like, that's what it means to be captain, doesn't it? Don't lose yourself. You have to be stable, because if you waver, who is the crewmates going to trust or like be able to believe in to be strong and stable? But it's so hard.
It is very hard, and everyone's crying. And then Zoro goes like, we can never return to this ship after tonight. And I'm like, no, what does that mean?
The shot with Luffy's tears, with like when he's covering his eyes with his hat, and you can see his tears, and also he's like his his nose is all snotty, dripping. Yeah, he's just like, I'm sorry. But he had to make that choice, and we do see briefly Usopp on the ground, also crying.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can see that puddle of wet, like tears right by his head after he's been beaten up by Luffy. And that's where the episode ends.
That's where it ends. This dramatic moment. Man, it was a tough episode to watch. I'm just glad we had another episode coming up. Don't cry, MJ.
I'm not crying yet.
Just a little bit, baby.
It makes me sad every time to think about how they had... Just thinking about what they had to have been feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Luffy especially. Because he loves Mary too. And he loves himself. They're all nakama. Instead of being the the rational one. The one strongly supporting Luffy's decision. Telling him he has to be strong.
Yeah.
Even though Zoro, we don't see him being emotional a lot, as we said, but I'm sure he cares for.
I'm sure he cares. I mean, he was very upset when they found Usopp all beat up. He was very upset, and I feel that's how you can tell Zoro cares about someone. Like, for example, when Nami was eaten by the snake back in Skypiea, he was like, I need to save Nami. Yes. And that's how I was
action?
I was like, he cares about Nami, because Nami is super annoying, and he even tells her sometimes, but when he saw that she was in danger, he was like, priority, need to save Nami.
They're such good crewmates.
They are.
I love the Straw Hats so much. Oh, okay. Moving on. Episode 237. Several shock hits the city of water. Iceberg targeted.
The plot thickens.
I mean, okay, so we ended the last episode with Luffy defeating Usopp. Yeah, them stepping away.
Mm-hmm. And Luffy tells Usopp that he can do whatever he wants with the Mary, but that he won't let anything hold them back. We're sailing forward, which I feel that sometimes you just have to say, hey, we need to move on. Let's just look forward and continue, building up from here. And he's got a good point, I feel.
Yeah, it's just always making that decision is hard, especially when you don't want to make that decision and you don't know if it was the wrong decision.
Right.
And also being responsible for that decision that's made. Yeah. For the whole group.
Yes. And then he tells him something that I was like, oh, that hurts. He says, it was fun while it lasted. Oh. And I'm like, oh, man. I feel like that was legit the breakup line. Fun while it lasted, but it's over. And I'm like, no, Usopp. And Usopp's not even my favorite Straw Hat, But I still don't want him to go.
How are you feeling at this point?
I'm just I hate seeing them fight. I hate thinking that we might just leave Usopp at Water 7. Because we've seen so many people come and go, but never one of the originals. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's also, I think was he the third?
He was the third one. I mean, and even Nami wasn't even officially part of the crew then. She was still hanging.
I guess, okay, technically
you know what I
Nami
mean?
Was third, and then Usopp was after. What do you think will happen?
I don't know. I don't know what will happen. I mean, I know for sure there's a way we win Usopp back. I just don't know what that is. We'll see. So the Straw Hats leave. They can't stay on the Mary. So they stay. They rent a room in a hotel, and they're all gathering on the roof. And they're still, by the way, wondering where Robin is during this whole ordeal.
I mean, they were distracted. There were some important things that were happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but they do realize that Robin is still missing.
Yeah, they're wondering when news come in that Iceberg got shot the previous night. Nami and Luffy head over there.
So all the people are actually talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know at first what's happening.
Yeah.
Only that there's people talking about things and talking about, hey, did you hear? At first, I forgot also, but at first I was like, oh, are they talking about the whole thing that happened with Usopp? But it wasn't that. It was that Iceberg got shot last night, or the last night of that world.
Yeah, and it's obviously a big deal because he's the mayor and everybody loves him. People are talking about it being the Straw Hats, right? Because they saw Nico Robin with the person who shot Iceberg. Or I think he saw her.
Well, okay, people are talking, but people don't know anything at this point yet. They're just like, oh, did you hear? Did you hear? And so Luffy and I believe Nami head over to investigate.
They go to investigate. Meanwhile, we see the Frankie's back at the house and he sees what happened. Like, and some of his family members are like, tell him what happened, and he's super mad. He's like,
so he did beat up like
right. It's like, what did you expect was gonna happen, man? But he's like, I gotta find Luffy and I'm gonna rip him apart. And I'm like, good luck with that. So we'll see. And then
while all of this is happening, we also have the Aqua Laguna.
Right. Everything is happening at the same time. Like all these problems. We see Chimney and her grandma, and they say that there's an advisory for an Aqua Laguna, which is basically an annual storm that comes every year.
Yeah, so they're not surprised.
And it's a big thing,
Civilians aren't surprised. They're like, oh, is it that time already?
Yes. I feel that's how I get when hurricane season starts. It's like, oh, it's that time already. Let's just get ready, buy some planks, water, usual stuff. It's just something that happens every year,
It just happens to be interesting timing.
Yeah, with all that's happening. But yes, so we see a lot of people in front of Dock 1 just waiting to hear about Iceberg. And Luffy and Nami are there too. They're in on Yagara. Suddenly, Frankie appears and he starts singing.
Well, how did you think about Frankie's appearance?
I was like, wait, what is this? And he's like, I think he starts singing something about, did somebody say my name? And I was like, wait, is Beyonce here? It was hilarious to me because everybody's so worried about the mayor being shot.
I mean, everyone is worried. Like all the shipwrights, the doctors called and they're like, is he okay? Is he gonna wake up?
Yeah, and then this man comes and he's up there on top of something. I don't remember what he's on top of, but he's very high up. He even has a curtain there while he makes his intro. And he starts singing, and then people get so mad. They're like, oh no, don't tell me it's this guy again. Please stop. And he continues. He's like, did somebody say my name? Or don't be shy or something like that. And everybody's like, no, we don't want to.
They knew already from the rhythm. They're like, oh no, is that, it can't be, especially at this time, because as we know, it's a serious time with the mayor having been shot.
And then he's like, come on and show yourself, Straw Hat. And is this when he drops the veil and we can see him, or is that in the beginning of the next episode? I don't remember. I'm gonna say it's here.
I believe this was when we first saw it.
So he does his whole intro, sings his song. Yeah,
because he drops the veil and we see his face.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're asking about sunglasses, I don't remember if he took his sunglasses.
No, he didn't take off his sunglasses, but he drops the veil and they're the three of them because he has the sisters as backup.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to get to that point. I wanted to ask what you thought of the sisters.
And they did the pose. They did his pose, and that's the first time we see him without the mask and the robe, and we see he's wearing this this tropical shirt, bikini, and just sunglasses, and he looks sort of like a rock star, I feel. I'm like, what is this? This is such a serious moment.
Do you like it?
I loved it. It was hilarious. It was just hilarious.
Yeah, I forgot how he entered the scene. I was like, oh, this music.
Yeah.
And the posing and the dancing. I love it.
Yes. And I mean, at least in the dub, it was great. Kudos to Patrick Seitz for singing that song, because I was like, oh my God, it was hilarious. I loved that.
Maybe I should go back and listen to that part in dub, because I haven't seen it in dub.
It's good. It's definitely good. So, and that's where the episode ends. He's like, come out and show yourself, Straw Hat. And that's where it ends. We see Luffy just look up and be like, what? And don't forget, you can watch all of One Piece anime episodes on Funimation.com/One Piece or the Funimation Now app, and check out our blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast for all the info on the binge routes and more. So moving on to episode 238, Gum Gum Human versus Fire Breathing Cyborg. And I'm like, wait, he's a cyborg?
Oh. The titles are, yes. So we have our Frankie in his outfit.
Yes, with his bikini. And Luffy literally just yells that, "Hey, bikini guy." I'm like, yeah, I guess that's exactly what he is. And Nami yells at him. She's like, "Give up my money." And he's like, "I spent it already." And Luffy doesn't even care. He's like, "Money or no money, I just want to fight you." Because I feel like a little bit, and I don't know if this is me overreaching, but I feel like Luffy's mad at him, not only because of what he did to Usopp, but maybe like for everything. Like,
or just taking it out on him?
Taking it out on him, you know, because he's super mad probably about what just happened with Usopp. So I feel that escalated everything too.
Yeah, no, it didn't help that all of that happened.
Yeah. So yeah, he's like, "Just come here and fight." And they start fighting.
Yep.
And that's where we see, you know, what Frankie is and what he does. He basically just breathes fire, and they're like, "Wait, do you have devil fruit powers?" And he's like, "No, I don't have any devil fruit powers. I'm a cyborg." And I'm like, whoa.
Oh, okay.
There are cyborgs in One Piece?
Did you like it?
I mean, I what can I say?
What can you expect?
Yeah,
do you love it?
Yeah,
I love it.
it was totally came from left field. I was not expecting a cyborg at all. And I think it was Jonna that mentioned this on a previous episode.
Okay.
There's so much different types of technology, but not on One Piece, that you never know, you know, what is going to be a thing or not. Like, we use snails as transponders, but we don't have
pretty cool snails.
And we don't have phones, you know, but we do have like waivers, which are technically like
dials.
Jet skis.
Yeah.
We have dials. So I was totally not expecting cyborgs to be a thing. But yeah, they are.
Welcome to Frankie.
So yeah, welcome Frankie. So yeah, he says he's a cyborg, and he punches Luffy against the entrance and like really hard. So we see that he's super strong.
Yeah, he is strong. And so these two are fighting. Well, meanwhile, we still have the situation with Iceberg being shot and everyone being worried, is he okay?
Yeah.
We do discover that he's okay. He wakes up. But that follows with Galila thinking that the Straw Hats attacked Iceberg because of Robin, I believe.
Yes. The Iceberg wakes up and he says that he remembers the masked man and Nico Robin.
Yep.
So they're like, well, if she's a Straw Hat, then probably that means that they did this because we didn't want to fix their ship.
Yeah.
And so they decide to go look for them and, you know, have some payback for what they think they did
To Iceberg.
So, meanwhile, Sanji and Chopper do a great thing that melted my heart.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to talk about this because it was so good. And I don't think we see the end of this, but all we see for now is that Sanji and Chopper, they hear about the Aqua Laguna and they're like...
Because they didn't know what it was either.
Yeah.
But then they're like, ask the local, and the local realizes they're not from around. Oh, this is huge thing. Interesting timing you have. And tells them what it is. But once they hear what it is, Sanji and Chopper are thinking, oh, this is dangerous.
Yeah.
You know who Choppa is, I think, mentions, you know, I worry. I wonder about, you know, someone might be out there injured.
Yeah.
Might not know about this.
Yeah. He's like dropping hints.
Yeah. Sanji gets it though.
Yeah, he does. And he's like, well, didn't you forget a medical bag that we have to go get?
At the Mary?
Yeah. Right? Super important. So they're like, yeah, we have to go back and get it. So meanwhile, Luffy and Frankie are just...
all these meanwhiles.
Yeah, right. Because we just get this little glimpse and then we don't see it again until the next episode.
But Luffy and Frankie are still going at it.
And they're destroying everything. Like that big ship that we saw
at Dock 1.
At Dock 1. And like they were making it and they were like super impressed at how it was. And I love this because it didn't just disappear. That ship, we saw it when we first came into Dock 1 and suddenly Frankie and Luffy are destroying it, fighting. I'm like, man, that was their job.
I mean, every time they destroy anything, they're destroying something someone created, right?
True.
But I guess it was extra emphasized because we had seen it previously, maybe.
So, yeah, and we see some cool moves. Like, Frankie opens his wrist and shoots out of it. And I'm like, oh, man. I guess
he's really cool.
Yeah, being a cyborg is pretty cool, honestly, at least in this situation. And, yeah, but the shipwrights come back. And, yeah, they knock out Frankie. And Lucci fights Luffy, knocks him down also. They're like, you need to stop.
Well, also, there's a whole thing with Iceberg being attacked. Because they figure, it's the Straw Hats that caused all this.
Yes, so they put out a flyer, like a wanted flyer, with the known Straw Hats, obviously, which are Luffy, Zoro, and Robin. Yeah, they put out like a wanted poster because they are suspects in the shooting of Iceberg. And that's where the episode ends, I think.
Was there a wanted poster specifically tied to Iceberg or that?
I think so. They did like a wanted and put like the 3 faces.
I remember seeing it, but I don't remember if it was just put up because weren't they already wanted?
Yeah, they were already wanted, but I feel like they put it up because of it. Because it went out on the papers too.
They are wanted. But yeah, so it ends there.
Yes. And we have just 1 episode left.
Oh, it's building so fast. 239. The Straw Hat Pirates are the culprits, the protectors of the City of Water. So as we ended last episode, Galila, they think, and actually the whole town now, the Straw Hats did it because they heard they saw, Iceberg thought he saw Robin with a masked figure, and then everyone associates Robin still with the Straw Hats.
Exactly.
Because, she was part of their crew. Or she is part of their crew.
Yeah, exactly. Technically, she is. We just don't know where she is right now.
But both Luffy and Frankie don't know about that attack.
Yeah. They both say, like, hey, I don't know. Basically, I don't know what you're talking about. So when they say that, the shipwrights tell them, like, well, Iceberg saw Nico Robin. So what does that mean?
But Luffy's confused.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. And he's, like, they start fighting about it, and Luffy starts fighting them, actually. And, yeah, he sort of gets trapped on a wall. And then Frankie gets mad because he's like, wait, I have dibs on this guy. Like, I'm fighting him.
This is my fight. I'm after him for what he did to my family. Don't butt into our fight.
Exactly.
But they don't listen. They're still fighting. I think there were 4 of them.
Yes, I think so, too. And he does, like, this connector set where he connects his arms and does a coup de vent. It just does like an air blast, blows them away. And I'm like, man, Frankie. Because obviously this spoiler I've had for a long time where I know Frankie eventually is going to join the crew.
Oh, you knew? Oh, no.
I know that, yes. I just don't know when. But yeah, sorry, guys. You couldn't protect me from that one.
Well, you still don't know when.
Yeah, I don't know when.
You just met Frankie.
Yeah, exactly. So for all I know, this arc is way long. So I don't know. So yeah, he's like, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to go on an adventure with you. Like, I want to see you use all these powers for us.
You also, you get to see there's a lot to Frankie. I'm excited for you too.
I'm excited to see what else he can do. I mean, as a Straw Hat, honestly. So yeah, he blows him away because basically he wants to fight Luffy, and
I think he attacks or like it, I guess, destroys the grains, and it damages the ships and all this all these things because he's like, stop, I'm fighting this guy. How dare you get in our way? And then Luffy, in all of this mess, Luffy and Nami like escape.
Yeah, and then they sort of watch from afar and plan to go talk to Iceberg, but there's so many people outside that they sort of don't know what to do. But you know how Luffy is, and he just basically breaks into the headquarters.
He leaves Nami behind, and then he like gums into a building.
Yeah,
trying to
through a window.
Trying to figure out where Iceberg is.
So, and then we see him for a while, just like sneaking into like through the headquarters, trying to find him, and then the shipwrights know he's there, so they're looking for him.
They're like, and they also know it's highly likely that Luffy is probably going for Iceberg's room, and so they're chasing him. I forgot this part. Caulifla was we didn't see it exactly, but she spots Luffy, and then calls out to him, Straw Hat, and then the next thing we know, Luffy's in Iceberg's room.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, she helped him sneak in there. Yeah, Iceberg tells Luffy that he needs to see Robin again.
Yeah, that the only reason why, like, he doesn't trust Luffy anymore, like any of his words, because of that, like, that shooting, and then Nico Robin's associating with Luffy.
Yeah.
But he the only reason why he called to see Luffy was because he wanted to see and I guess talk to Robin again. And of course, all that's happening, Sanji and Choppa.
Yes, they finished what they started on the last episode in a very funny way, but endearing too. They get like near the ship and they start screaming what's happening.
Yeah, just
at each other.
Loudly about what, as their smart, clever way to not directly be helping Usopp, but still trying to hint at him that there's this Laguna coming.
Yeah, they're basically like, did you hear that? There's a storm coming. Yeah, it's super dangerous and everybody should take cover. Something like that.
The waves are coming. And then
they just run away.
Well, they figure they heard. They don't know for sure. They're like, is he hurt still that he can't move? But they tried. They tried their best. They can't confirm.
Yeah,
exactly. Actually directly talking to Usopp or seeing him. So they leave too, because I don't think they didn't want to be seen.
Yeah, they didn't want him to see him. So I think they hear him moving and they run away. And Usopp comes out like, wait, what?
Yeah, so I don't. He heard some words.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
We'll see if he got the message.
And the episode ends with Nico Robin reading the news and then hearing the news about the Straw Hats and the attack on Iceberg.
Yeah, so she's just casually sitting on a balcony reading the newspaper, and that's where it ends.
Okay, so there's a lot for me to ask you. There's a lot that happened.
I don't know anything, man.
It was an interesting section for me to rewatch and talk about and think about, especially with Usopp and Luffy, and also that mystery with Robin.
Agree. I mean, even since last podcast episode, that when Robin disappeared after somebody whispered something to her. I don't remember what it was, but I know we mentioned it on the last episode. It was something 29, something like that. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. I'm not gonna say anything.
But I heard it. I know what it is. I just can't remember. But somebody whispered something to her. So I was on the last podcast episode. I was on my predictions for the future.
Okay.
I was saying like, well, maybe I think Robin has been either brainwashed. She was brainwashed, and that phrase sort of activated something on her brain that now she has to follow this person. Or that word is just code for something that I don't know about. And she has some kind of loyalty to this person who whispered it to her. Yeah, that was code for I need you, or that was code for I need you to pay this favor back, or something like that. But I'm so mad that I didn't get an answer for that through this whole podcast episode.
Well, it's building. It's there's a lot to uncover there.
Definitely.
So You'll get pieces.
I can't wait. And as for Usopp, I don't even know what to say. I know he's coming back. I just can't imagine how.
How do you know he's coming back?
I mean, I've seen him in the posters. I know he's still with us.
Darn it. You can't protect Josellie from all the spoilers.
You would have to cover half the office up. So
I'd have to
see
make
them.
sure you don't see any of like the One Piece social posts. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll see.
What am I excited for you to see in the next episode? Oh, we see more Frankie, and then we see...
Oh, I bet. I can't wait to see. So we hope you enjoyed this One Piece at a time. Don't forget to check out the Funimation blog at funny.to/One Piece podcast, which will be updated constantly with the binge routes and everything you need to know. Also head to our shop at funimation.com/shop and add One Piece home video to your collection. And for all things One Piece, follow us on Facebook at One Piece Official and Twitter at One Piece Anime.
And we want to thank the people who make this podcast happen. The creator of One Piece, Oda Sensei.
Thank you, Oda.
Oda Sensei, yeah. Toei Animation, the audio engineers, and of course everyone joining us on this journey. All you Straw Hats Nakama out there listening, please rate this podcast wherever you're listening to it and share it with other One Piece Nakama.
Yes, share the One Piece love. The next One Piece at a time will cover anime episodes 240 to 247, and hopefully I'll get an answer for Nico Robin. So be sure to watch on Funimation now, sub or dubbed, and be ready. See ya.
Bye.